Sometimes, yeah, I'm not saying that's what happened. Because Ridge Hospital called you before I buy that. You see, sometimes they told me I'm paying for your motor institutions. I don't know. You see, sometimes there are more politicians. You poke your nose everywhere. Because Ghana the constitution na makwan so man panyin de kura to me ni nyina wo no ntia be ye kire no na ye pam we ye the way ba ye the way kwa ye the way ba ye yi we free pe adwuma ye foot soldiers ye pe adwuma ma ye nkrofo nti na fe technocrats no so ye de ye hwini akwa wura ho. They are messing and spoiling institutions na so to me tino mo na so eye adwuma no am de so man Ghana mo technocrats so mo so diebo. Because you see, Ridge Hospital as man Bekan, ya found Penimu said hospital. So, Excellency John Dramani Mahama, as a new hospital and a new edifice at the Ridge Hospital. It's a place I visit quite often. That is if Mibusu and Nibi area. So I know the ins and out of Ridge, and sometimes the nurses, the workers, the doctors, sometimes one who didn't come up. Look, doctors, let's speak the truth. Some of them are bread. If I should say most of them, nurses, doctors, and easy jobs how. With this country that we live in, this country, that Bibianya politicians think about the next election and not the people who are voting for them. Sometimes you cannot blame the Penimuno or no. Times. Other times to Omwa Kahubi because Ridge Hospital there and Becca a building for Friday yesterday. What I said there baby I just can. What I said there baby Esre and ya no. Baby na man you more bet me akwa just can there. I buy toy and it's part of the new building Becca. Womu jeja ya mane say ye metete ye say edru baby na mpanyifo kra kona everywhere womu a wo machines be private companies now mo de na ase no womu hwemu nya o na eye ya ne arefo na ko outside na che say womu mo kakro menya die nti na che say ye de na empro OPD hokra no a ye dada kakra no womu ye new one bi wona den chen ha baby the right ne nifa so na wo baby a we be a ebia want to be 19 first steps na ye de wheel e de fa ho no said ya tiles full tan a tiles na so tronsu atoi wo fa so asa ba buahwe no ye be ka asem no ha. Some of them just, I don't know whether they don't think outside the box. They don't know how to think outside the box. Or just because they are CEOs, you give them jobs to do and they just sit there, the normal, regular thing that they came to meet. And one or more to ask for. Then, fast one thing. So I want to be outside the box and you cannot think outside what. That's why I like Damboche. What would them say? Tell my Damboche, a local government minister. Or catch the MCs, DCs, and they say, Jack, and you man mobile and the Sikani ho, I buy one yes car farm now. You should use your gumptions. What school? Opien Minyansa, yeah. Obien Nyansa, them say, Uko square the Nyansa in the become who fear the Eka. Then you apply that, say, Baya, yet you may be someone, Sabaya Juma extraordinary. That makes you unique. And me, I always strive to be different. That is why I speak my mind without fear. Madam for no crime, make them my diat now. Without fear or favor. This is me. But you see, sometimes in Penny follows where the dead you man, no, one more answer. It's not as if they don't think or they don't think about you, the human being. Because nipa wo yo wo na doctor bi nurse bi wo bia wu won nsa no bia akoda bi penmu bi just say nipa bi obia na just say wo hwe say de o maboto ena from my culture say Ridge Hospital hodi. Sometimes nurses do music aduane om de ba om de ma patient o patient bia beda ho onya ska dua ne be ne aba na aduane adi. But some of them have a big subai. I agree, and that is where many JP action. A big subai, a big as a man who was and was a big deal. My mouth here, a yet dear Nipanua, Yera Quablamin cat, a candle, a cotono. The reason why Nipano free mono. What ya? Sometimes to say, you don't actually have control anyway. Because you actually went there because they had told you some of the issues they are having, the problems they are having in Tamale Hospital. Niama and Akadia, hospitals, Abaya, Sabiani, Biedi. Akadia, Abaya, I told you be a common gloves. the be adwuma kra no mu ni bi common gloves the be adwuma no kra bi ni ho because empem bebre no politician de kan nyina asoa what de kan nyina asoa be wi ase no wonya ska nya na sede emfa sika esafata mfa nko entina adwuma na kwa ye de ama wo mu a wo masua adwuma no a wo mu de ye adwuma agi akra no na akoye de no wo de ho anye wo de let's watch what transpired there on Facebook on your 95.1 FM on your 95 on Facebook now the tie what actually I wanted to play the voice first. Okay, yanko. See what actually happened, transpired there. Because look, honorable, it's okay when you are going for visit. I already mean them. But this man's I think, sir, this one is just showing powers where power lies. Because you also found those and it's only when you found out that the person has all disrespect too. Then you decided to show him where power lies. Who did you enter the course?
There's one here, and there's a staff. The staff also has that, and that's why you brought me here to come and see. Is another point. Meanwhile, it's not accessible to the patient.
No, it's only accessible when the tap open. So that's the situation. So for a while now, water hasn't been flowing in there. And that's why I wanted you to see. You see that there are sachets. People enter there and they use sachet water and then just dump it there. And that's the situation.
Please, even if it is not being used, you can't clean the place and lock it.
No, so you can clean the place and lock it.
There's no water to scrub the place.
You don't have water to use. You can't make arrangement for the tankers, the tankers to bring water. And so you don't have that arrangement. Dr. T, you are telling me that you can't have water for this place to run this facility.
No, we get
This is Dr. Valentine. He's the HOD of the emergency. And one night we didn't have water at the emergency, and he himself got them to get the yellow barrels to come and bring water for the nurses to work. So at our level, sometimes my HOD does his best.
Yes, I agree. And I'm the first person to admit that there are challenges with respect to water in Tamale. But that's why a leader here, that's why you're a CEO here. Not until we resolve the issue completely. I've been on the committee for a very long time, and we have always been talking about this. And we think we know that you have a way of providing water for the facility until we solve the issue permanently. And that is what we have been briefing us. We know that the Tamale water challenge goes beyond the facility. It's well known in the country and all that. But you cannot tell me that because if you are not very careful, people come here and pick the diseases from here and go home. That's what it is. And you know, you're a medical doctor.
Yes, doctor.
So they'll come here because there's no water. The person is sick. He comes here and picks the disease and he goes with the disease because there's no water.
So we have then two.
I had a point that if you're a CEO, you should think outside the box. But sometimes even outside the box, that's kind of a hospitals lights. And in fact, Abai has even instructed them. I don't know whether I started yet, Juma, that they should pay their light and water from internally generated funds. Here is the case, most of the teaching hospitals, nipa dodo na ebe kwa niska enti wo mu eda national health insurance so tie most of the government facilities obekwa no dodo anu eti ho no ekura national health insurance card, and so even generating internally generated funds no edre hospital supplies obi na deba enro obi na deba chese almost everything, and arrangement between national health insurance and the facilities. And we know what even Abai institutions cry no one just can't like mail make ministries. Sometimes obekwa ministries or more no o pe baby ajo so kra yanka no kra Ministry of Health, Ministry of whatever, open baby Joshua, and your minister na mu office ya. Adam baby Joshua in a hot time, a hot bound. They themselves find it difficult when there's no water. So the lady said, see, even my head of department, sometimes omu yensuya, onu ne kope jari kanodiaba, enti ebi boa. But to what extent? How does it? And minister appreciates the problems there because in Tamale, they have crisis. But also you see you Tamale Hospital. Now him say crisis where ho. Now him how to manage the crisis. You cannot run a hospital because hospital cannot go without water. And to not may so down to technocrats because we have a bigger challenge than what he went to see. We have a bigger challenge that now say much remain. Wama kasa how uko Ghana mattress don't want and your private here don't want buy mattress no one more year juma hono nyamenkwa. It is only God. I commend him for what he's doing because he needs to go everywhere to assess and see how best. Let's listen again. There's another video. Let's listen again.
So there was no extra ventilation.
And this is why the person died.
But all the resuscitation was done here. We called the ICU and they said they didn't have any vent available for the intubation. And at that point, there's really little that you'll be able to do without the intubation. So the patient was being barred here until the patient could.
So when the patient go here,
How many minutes did they get to assess the patient? Oh, within 10 minutes. So usually when you score red, you are immediately brought to the red zone. There is no situation where you have to delay. You are pushed straight to red. So as soon as you are tried red, you are brought in there.
and then when did you communicate with the ICU when they told you they didn't have any ventilation?
No, I think immediately we identified that the patient needed to have been intubated. The ICU call was made.
And they said they didn't have any.
Yes, so there were no available beds.
So if somebody tells you that at the time he got to know that there was a patient like that, there was an available mobile bed, how would you as a man in charge?
I mean, if there was an available mobile vent anytime, we would have used it. We see patients here all the time.
There's a bit of conflict between what you are telling us now and what they are also saying. So it is either an issue of lack of proper communication or there's a problem somewhere. Either it is an issue of
look, me kwa attack right me mama yari ya ye to European hospital. Before me do na me brother ba kwa catch him say ye twere duro mana. Otumi kwatena ba bia pharmacy ho. Obekwa na nipa na odi nkomo. Enti otewo atwen sa odi nkomo wi ansa wafre no. Manya ni cheso otumi tena 1 hour. Na nipa ni di nkomo. Tena ho me ba enso ye di aduro e di ahwe afo. Da mimi kwaduru ho. Ah, omu twere aduro ma ese ye nkonkoto. Sa time no. Me nuan so okwa me se yanko. Nipa no eduru ho a ye me kwai na ma me no odidi. In fact, what to adenim so odidi awie. Na nipa me so no say no, this one is somebody I know. Me ya rough asem beto me. She had to wash her hands and no sorry yeah. Said no ni be no even prescription no crime there's a problem related to go or finding out. So if I was not there present, my brother will have to sit, wait for her to eat, finish eating, do whatever she's doing. Meanwhile, nipa ni diedro. So sometimes these things do happen. Yankwa Tamale, yani a correspondent in Ninkomo. What exactly happened that day? Minu abema. Christopher amwako ewa homaso. Christopher kafra mo san friend bi na try na yene ne Ninkomo. Sometimes, but you see during the scaffold what Tamale no. Oh, said Drew baby no. Honorable Suhini Bufu. If I no cry na pata minister at a point. One also bufu ye. Why not come here asa said ya common ne kono as a nipa no. One said down for buo ma minister. that they should also look at. But both ways, kind of by responsibility to make sure that whatever every hospital needs, you might not need everything, or you might not get everything. But the utmost best, because healthcare is primary. Healthcare in every government is primary. Yankwa Chris Marchana Pay.
Hello.
Marchana Pay, Chris.
I'm Adam Boko.
Chris, Tamale Hospital, Minister Honorable Akando Obaye no Oko Hobi.
I'm a hobby pa.
Then it's see.
Hello.
Then it's see Pote Sadano.
Okay, so Minister no he came on a surprise visit to Tamale Teaching Hospital. Confirmed the visit to Eba and say na referral case be in Eba hospital and a firm that Nipano na Eba and say according to hospital management Nipano omodene Eba no facility na first.
Christopher. Hello, Christopher. Mon check him out. Yeah, here can say yeah, Sabesanka Christopher Biom no watch. I mean, they have challenges there, but and American kind of a no. I buy what I said yeah. Yeah, found CEO so also I said yeah. Both must go hand in hand. Say by a healthcare system. This is showing how bad, how terrible Ghana's healthcare system is. Enti na mo yare a ne atam mo kwa abrochi no mo politicians kuro ya ye papa enkade de ebesi ni senka ye papa kanese mo yare a ne tebri mo kwa abrochi ya recommend to landing da no ba omi anya covid landing enra vice president landing yeah, any landing sikano, you better than we should ye. And let's clean the system.